If the Chinese feel offended by a girl who spells pizza or pasta with chopsticks, means that those Chinese feel inferior. And then it's their problem, not ours. We are racist for what? Tell me. Chinese ignorant, dirty-smelling mafia. These words all come from the mouth of Dolce & Gabbana, D&G's initial founder and designer Stefano Gabbana. Or should I call it Dolce & Gabbana? The reason why I intentionally distort the pronunciation of their brand name is the same as the saying from their highly controversial video campaign.
玛格丽特披萨饼，欢迎收看 Dolce and Gabbana 奇快吃饭第1集。今天我们首先要向大家展示如何用这种小棍子形状的餐具来吃我们伟大的传统玛格丽特披萨饼。你们是不是一手拿一根，像小刀一样切一块披萨饼呢？不是这样。对，这样就对了。所以就是像钳子一样夹住一块披萨饼，直接送进嘴里。哦，别让奶酪滴下来。Bravissimo！
And this is the unofficial but well-translated English version.
Pizza Margherita. Welcome to Dolce and Gabbana's first episode of Eating with Chopsticks. Today we'll first demonstrate to you how to use the small stick-shaped cutlery to eat our great traditional pizza margherita. Do you hold a stick in each hand and cut up a piece of pizza like using a knife? No, not like this. Yes, this is the correct way. So clamp the piece of pizza like pliers and send it straight into your mouth. And don't let the cheese drip. Very good.
This campaign video titled Eating with Chopsticks for the Chinese market in 2018 triggered a national boycott and anti-consumption. Their upcoming fashion show in Shanghai had to be cancelled because celebrities and guests refused to attend. This podcast is about the issue of D&G's campaign video with overwhelming criticism, but in a broader context, there are sometimes general defenses. Their video content intersects cultural sensitivity and stereotypes and finally upgrades to the level of racism. Domenic Dolce and Stefano Gabbana started their fashion career in 1985 and named it by their last names. China is one of the biggest markets for Dolce & Gabbana, contributing 25% of their income in the fiscal year that ended in March 2018. Their influence in the fashion world is untouchable, but at the same time, they are at the center of this controversy. In November 2018, Dolce & Gabbana launched a series of promotional videos for their upcoming fashion show, The Great Show in Shanghai. The campaign included 3 videos featuring a Chinese model attempting to eat traditional Italian dishes, pizza, pasta, and cannoli, with chopsticks. It seems like the intention behind these videos appeared to be a playful combination of Italian culinary culture with Chinese eating utensils, possibly aimed at highlighting the fusion of these two cultures in the context of their upcoming show in China. However, despite what may have been intended as a humorous and light-hearted celebration of cultural fusion, the execution was perceived differently. This is how scholars describe the content. In every video, an off-camera male narrator, speaking in Chinese, first names the dish, then ridicules the model's clumsy attempts to eat it, before instructing her on how to properly use chopsticks when eating classic Italian dishes. I believe the adjective properly is a necessary use here. Instead of approaching a cultural integration image, they let a model who is Chinese perform the crumbling use of chopsticks that have a rich history since 4000 BCE. They are placing Western culture at a superior level, as they are implying a stupid Chinese image of not knowing how to eat Western food, along with purposefully mispronouncing their brand name as Dolce and Gabbana. This portrayal struck many viewers as a reinforcement of cultural stereotypes rather than an innovative cultural fusion. For the Chinese, chopsticks are a cultural symbol, not only as a tool but also as representing the Chinese identity. Interviews conducted by DW News with local Chinese people revealed a sense of disappointment and frustration.
If they continue to adopt this vicious attitude, then of course we can't accept it, and we need to boycott the brand. But if they apologize and truly recognize their mistakes, it would be understandable. We think Dolce & Gabbana's ad was biased and showed misunderstanding towards China. We feel very uncomfortable when we see it.
The same reaction is shown in the street interviews conducted in Shanghai by the channel Asian Boss. The video made me feel awkward, and then after I saw those criticisms, it made me think, oh, DNG is intentionally trying to make China look bizarre. How the brand is portraying our traditional culture is incorrect, especially on many levels. For example, they even use the word little sticks to describe chopsticks. Another layer of reinforcement of cultural stereotypes in the ad is the erotic and ambiguous atmosphere. The first thing is the use of the exquisite colors, often subdued, warm, and centered around reddish colors, together with old but refined wooden indoor furniture. But what is the potential problem with this? It seems hard to understand from outsiders, but the exaggeration of these visual elements often symbolized the oppressive feudal Chinese society, often towards women, which is commonly aware by Chinese people. This approach mimics the visual style of the influential and renowned Chinese director Zhang Yimou, who often used it in his films about old society, such as Raise the Red Lantern, 大红灯笼高高挂. Although the book caught primitive passions, visuality, sexuality, ethnography, and contemporary Chinese initially refers to this style as a new ethnography. The author also mentions that Zhang Yimou's films are not dedicated to recreating historical Chinese society, but rather to create a mythological version of it. Simply put, this version satisfied the nostalgical home desire of the uprooted immigrants who wish to find their cultural roots. However, Dolce & Gabbana is facing modern society. So why do they bring out the unchanged, stereotypical Western perception towards the Chinese? This is especially sensitive given the historical context of Western attitudes towards Eastern societies, which often frame them as backwards. It indeed is a form of lack of cultural sensitivity and respect. Of course, everything has two sides, just like what's been said in the interview. But if they apologize and truly recognize their mistakes, it would be understandable. The reason why it is understandable can refer to cultural misunderstanding stems from different cultural backgrounds. Misinterpretations related to the brand's intended humor could influence public perception negatively, potentially damaging the brand's image. This is a basic explanation of how cultural misunderstandings can occur, and in the context of Dolce & Gabbana, they are assuming the same degree of humor. It seems like they always use a third-person perspective to analyze culture, which might not resonate well with all audiences. Apart from that, a broader discussion related to artistic freedom also defends their act in terms of expression liberty, which requires autonomy. One comment below the ad is, "Please get a life. This is meant to be creative and is not racist at all." However, the overuse of freedom often causes tension in ethical or cultural aspects. If that's the case, then why did it still hurt them so much, to the extent of almost losing the entire Chinese market? The argument is intensified due to screenshots of private messages between Stefano Gabbana and Michaela Trinova, an online user from London, which is mentioned at the beginning of this podcast.
Now, the company had also called the ad unfortunate and said that its, as well as Stefan Gabbana's Instagram accounts had been hacked. And on their Instagram account, D&G said, "We are very sorry for any distress caused by these unauthorized posts. We have nothing but respect for China and the people of China."
Followed by a formal apology video with Dominic Dolce and Stefano Gabbana sitting in front of the camera, expressing their regrets and apologize for the incident. Over the past few days, we have thought long and hard with great sadness about everything that has happened and what we have caused in your country, and we are very sorry. They said sorry in Chinese at the end of the video, but ironically, they said it with accent. It seems like an echo of their attempts to perform Dolce and Gabbana. Stefano Gabbana also put a huge title saying "Not Me" overlaid on the screenshots, this later being ironically turned into a protest poster, highlighting the public's skepticism towards the designer's apologies and explanations. Protester Edward Gu printed out the poster and pasted them on D&G's storefront. This is what he said. "I believe that this kind of brand does not deserve our respect." An analysis of Chinese online comments towards the response stated that Chinese people think their denial indicates superiority and a lack of responsibility because they utilize the most effortless method to avoid the issue, and in fact, they have nothing to do to comfort the angry. The impact on their brand is irreparable. Although they try to restore the relationship with the Chinese market by participating in several events such as the China Import and Export Expo, CIIE, in November 2018, and a couple of publications in Chinese fashion magazines in 2020. Once they are in public eye, anyone or any organization associated with their brand is subject to criticism. The model Zuo Ye, who performed in the video, indicated that she did not expect the corporation to nearly ruin her career. Dolce & Gabbana's promotional video and their response serve as a reminder of the results when cultural stereotypes are reinforced rather than respectfully acknowledged, and as a caution for other international brands to engage deeply with the cultures they market to. Despite the artistic and misunderstanding levels, I believe this is not an exaggeration. This is a war of protecting the culture, protecting the people.